Hello everyone. Right, short date and learn objective, please. And pause the video while you're doing that, then press play. Okay. Right, as you can see, we're doing finding a fraction of a number. So moving back a little, moving away from the shape work we've been doing. Okay. So say for example, and we have touched on these before. We've done a huge amount of work on it, but I think we were pretty good with them. Say I wanted to find 1/3 of 15. So we'll start off nice and easy, 1/3 of 15. So when I'm doing these sort of questions, I'm just saying how many 3's are there in 15? How many 3's are in 15? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5. Okay, so if I want to find 1/4 of 20, how many 4's go into 20? 4. Let's do another one. How many 1/4 of 28? Because I've got 1 as my numerator, 1 on the top, I'll just say how many 4's are in 28? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22, 24, 28, 7 equals 7. If I wanted to find 1/10 of 360, I'd say how many 10's are in 360? Okay, so 360 divided by 10, and that would actually give me 36, okay? 36 would be bigger numbers as well. Okay. What is 1/11 of 77? I'm asking myself how many 11's go into 77, and it's 7 of them, isn't it? Okay, that's a fraction. So it's a fraction of a number. So for example, you could have, the question could be, I had 15 sweets. I ate 1/3 of them. How many sweets did I eat? So 1/3 of 15 sweets would be 5 sweets, okay? Yep. It was 28 in a class of 28 pupils. 1/4 of them were boys. So 1/4 of 28 would be 7 boys, okay? And so on. So that's how we we often use fractions in that way. So nice and easy ones to start off with. Okay, we should be able to whiz through these quickly, okay? So could you do just those first 3, please? 1/6 of 18. So how many 6's are in 18? 1 to yeah. Pause the video while you do that. Write the full question, not just the answer, please. Okay, and then press play when you're done. Right, let's quickly have a look. Yeah, so 1/6 of 18. How many 6's in 18? 3. How many 10's are in 120? 12. How many 7's are in 35? 5. For some of these, the hardest part I think will be for some of us is knowing our times tables, isn't it? Knowing our times tables. Okay, they get a little bit trickier when you get, for example, if you wanted to know what is 3/5 of, let's go 3/5 of 30. Now, if I want to find 3/5, first of all, I'm going to find 1/5. So 1/5 of 30, I know how to do, don't I? 1/5 of 30. How many 5's in 30? 6. So 1/5 of 30 is 6. So in order to find 3/5, okay, I just times that by my numerator, by the top number, okay. But if you think about it the other way, that means 2/5 of 30 would be 12, which means 3/5 of 30 is 18, and then 4/5 of 30 is 24, and then obviously 5/5, the whole thing of 30 is 30. So you can see there, okay, to find 3/5, if we find 1/5, then we just times that by the numerator, okay. So, and if you prefer, you can do it this way as well, because 1/5 would be 6, 2/5 would be 2, and you can see that 6 times 2 is 12. 3/5 would be 18. Okay, 1/5 is 6 times 3 is 18. 4/5 is 24. 1/5 is 6 times 4 is 24, and so on. Okay, right. So the answer is, and when we're doing these, I'd like us initially to start off to just write underneath 1/5 of 30 is 6, and then if you want, you can do, well, if 1/5 is 6, 3/5 will be 18. Okay, because I've got my 6 and I'm timesing it by that 3. If you need to write it underneath, okay, 2/5, 3/5, you can. Let's just do a couple more, okay. What is 3/8 of 24? First step, find 1/8. 1/8 of 24. 1/8 of 24. How many 8s in 24? 8, 16, 24, 3. So if 1/8 is 3, and I'm going to just times my number there by my numerator. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay. 1/8 is 3. 2/8 would equal 6. 3/8 would equal 9. 4/8, which is the same as half, would equal 12. Yep. And so on. Okay. But if you, 1/8 is 3, times that by the 3 is 9. Okay. What would be 3/4 of 2 centimeters? 3/4 of 2 centimeters. Have a little think about that one. Okay, have a think. Right, now when you get a question like this, for example, so the 4 is bigger than the 2, but this is in centimeters. What can I do to the centimeters to make it much easier for myself? What can I do to the 2 centimeters to make it easier? I can hear people screaming at the screen, turn it into millimeters. It is, yes, turn it into millimeters. Well done. So 2 centimeters is 20 millimeters, and that makes it so much easier. So sometimes, if this number is smaller than the denominator, the bottom number there, it's often easy to convert it into a different unit of measurement. Okay, so actually now it's quite easy, because I'm just going to give my answers in millimeters. So I'm going to turn that 2 centimeters to 20 millimeters, because it's the same length, isn't it? Okay, 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So I say how many, so I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to find 1/4 of 20. How many 4s are in 20? 4, 8, 12, 16, 25. Okay, 5. So 1/4 is 5. So 3/4, I times the 5 by the 3, 15 millimeters. Okay, 15 millimeters. And it can be the same with anything like that. So it could be, you could have meters, and sort of, let's just do one with meters. Okay, so what is let's do 3/10 of 5 meters. Now to find 1/10 of 5, it gets a little bit tricky. So what could I turn the meters into? Well, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So I'm going to turn 5 meters into 500 centimeters. Okay, so what's 1/10 of 500? How many 10s in 500? Okay, and if you need to, you can do your bus stop method. Okay, it'll be 50. Okay, so 50. If 1/10 is 1/10 is 50. 3/10 will be 50 times 3, 150 centimeters is my answer. Okay. Let's go with, and you can get quite tricky ones, like 4/15 of 120. Okay, 4/15 of 120, but the same rules apply. You find 1/15 of 120. So how many 15s go into 120? Now if you can't do that off the top of your head, this doesn't help very much actually, because there's no note. Okay, so we need to do our 15 times table on the side. How many? 15, 30, 45, 60, add 10, add 5, 75, add 10, add 5, 90, add 10, add 5, 105, add 10, add 5, 120. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be 8 there, okay? So 1/15 of 120 is 8. There is 15 eighths in 120. So I do 8 times 4, 24. Okay. So a few things there. Please, you may have to change the. You might have to change the. If it's a unit of measurement, you can change the unit of measurement, make it easier, can't you? Okay. Could you please have a go at these? Okay. Write them out properly. So write out the question, then underneath write 1/5 of 20 equals like that. Okay. Right. Pause the video while you do that. Okay. And press play when you're done. Right, let's have another look. So the first one, 2/5 of 20. I'm going to do these quite quickly. 2/5 of 20. So 1/5 of 20 is, how many 5s are in 20? 4. 4 times 2, 8. Okay. 5/8 of 40 was 1/8 of 40 equals, how many 8s in 40? 5. Then I'm going to do 5. So if 1/8 is 5, 5/8 will be 5 times 5, 25. Okay, should be okay on those first two. It does get a little bit trickier then. It does get a bit trickier. So we've got 3/4 of 1 meter, 3/4 of 1 meter. Now we're going to turn this 1 meter into 100 centimeters. Okay, makes it much easier. So I'm going to find 1/4 of 100. How many 4s in 100? Again, if I need to do my bus stop method here, okay, note, carry the 1, so that'll be 2, carry the 2. How many 4s are in 25? So it'll be 25 centimeters. 25 times 3, okay, 25 times 3, 75 centimeters. Okay, 75 centimeters. And then on to the last one of those. So 7/10 of 1 kilogram. Now 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So we're going to turn this 1 kilogram into 1,000 grams. Okay. So again, we find 1/10 of 1,000. How many 10s in 1,000? Okay. And that'll be 100. 100. So 1/10 of 1,000 is 100. So 7/10 will be 100 times 7. 700 grams. And we do need to put the grams there, okay? So hopefully that'll help us with those ones where we have to change the unit of measurement, okay? Actually, the one when it gets it gets trickier again when we are dealing with word problems. Okay, so I want us to make sure we do some of the word problems in the work today. Okay, so in a class of 32 children, 5/8 are boys. How many are girls? So let's find out how many are boys first of all. So we know the 5/8 of a class of 32. So 5/8 of 32. So 1/8 equals of 32. How many 8? 8, 16, 24, 30 is 4. So 4 times 5, 20. So we know we've got 20 boys in the class. Okay? 20 boys in the class. So the first thing I have to find is 5/8 of 32. 5/8 of 32. So that tells me there are 20 boys in the class. So how many girls will there be in the class? Okay? Well, there's 32 children altogether. Minus the 20 boys means the rest will be girls. 32, so there's 12 girls. Okay, so it's not just enough to work out the fraction. We have to make sure we answer the question. Okay, we answer the question. Okay, have a little look at this one. Have a little look at this one. Okay, before I go over it, see if we can have a little look how you're going to do it. Okay, so pause the video just a moment, pause the video and have a little go at that one yourself. Let's have a look. So a saucepan holds 2 litres of water. 3/4 of it evaporates. So if 3/4 evaporates, okay, so I'm going to do 3/4 of 2 litres. What am I going to turn that 2 into? Well, 1 litre is 1,000. So 2 litres is going to be 2,000 millilitres. Okay. So I have to find 1/4 of 2,000. Okay. If you can't do that in your head, and remember, to find a quarter, you just halve it and halve it again. But I'm going to just do the written method. How many 4s are in 2? None. Carry the 2. How many 4s are in 20? 5. How many 4s are in 0? 0. Okay, so it becomes 500. 1/4 of 2,000 is 500 millilitres. 1/4 of 2,000 is 500 millilitres. So therefore, if 1/4 is 500, 3/4 are 1,500 millilitres. So that's how much water has evaporated, and therefore it started with 2,000, 1,500 evaporated, and that left 500 millilitres left. But actually what you'll notice here is if 3/4 evaporated, and this is just a shortcut you can use if you want, if 3/4 evaporated, I know that that means 1/4 is left, isn't it? Because 3/4 and 1/4. So I could just find 1/4 of 2 litres. Don't worry if you don't get that. Okay, don't worry if you don't get that part, and we'll maybe go through it on the next couple of questions. Okay. Right, have a go at these, please, because time is getting on a bit, actually. Have a go at those two. Pause the video. Write out your workings out, please, okay? Press play when you're done. Right, let's have a little look. A jam jar contains 300 millilitres of jam. 7/8 are eaten. How much jam is left? So 7/8 of 300 millilitres. So first of all, I'm going to find 7/10, 1/10 of 300. How many tens are in 300? 30. Okay. 30 times 7, 7, 14, 21. That would be 210. So you have to be a bit careful with your calculations here. I'm just doing the calculations quite quickly. So that means 210 millilitres are eaten. Okay, so this started with 300 millilitres minus the 210 millilitres that are eaten, so that leaves me with 90 millilitres left. Okay, so well done if you did that. Got that, 90 millilitres left. Okay, and of course, just the shortcut. I'm going to quickly go through the shortcut. If 7/10 are eaten, that means 3/10 are left, isn't it? 3/10 of 300. We know that 1/10 is equal to 30. 30 times 3, 90 millilitres. If 7/10 are eaten, 3/10 are left. So I can just go straight to that if I can see it, okay? Let's have a look at the second one. So there are 30 sweets in a packet, okay? A half are eaten on day 1. So on day 1, it's a half of 30, which is 15, okay? So you started off with 30 sweets, you ate 15, so you're left with 15 sweets, okay? So a half of 30 on day 1, so you've got 15 sweets left by day 2, okay? On day 2, a further 3/5. So I have to find 3/5 of 15 on day 2, because 3/5 of what is left are eaten, okay? So I'm going to find 1/5 of 15 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So that means 9 are eaten. 9 are eaten on day 2. So how many are left? At the beginning of day 2, I had 15. 9 are eaten, and that means 6 are left. There's our answer, 6, okay? So again, not too, that's quite tricky, okay? Quite tricky, some of those. Okay, and again, once I get to this point, where I've got 15 left, if 3/5 are eaten on day 2, that means 2/5 are left, isn't it? So I just find 2/5 of 15, which is 6. Okay. Right, time to get on with the work ourselves, I think. Okay, so we won't be working from our textbook today. Okay, so I've left a sheet for you. Okay, so there's a loaded onto the portal with the lesson are some questions. Now it's section B and section C. If you have a look at them and you're feeling really confident, just go straight to section C. Okay. If not, just start off on section B. So it starts off a bit easier on section B and then it gets harder on section C. So I'm happy for you to start on B if you want. But if you think, right, I'm just going to go straight on to C, you can start on C if you want as well, okay? If you find in C a bit hard, you can go back and do some more of the B, okay? But have a go at those, please. When you're doing them, write them out properly, okay? So if you have to find 4/5 of a number of 35, you'd have to find 1/5 first. 1/5 of 35 equals, just so we get into good habits. Okay, good luck with that, everyone. Okay, bye.